What is up, everybody? I am Daniel. He is Clint. This is our lane. We talk about the University of Georgia. We don't stray too far from it. Today, we welcome you, Kentucky fan. Oh, I'm sorry. We are not talking about basketball on this episode, Kentucky fans. And so we are happy that you're here. But we are talking about football. So you might want to leave now because Georgia's playing Kentucky in football this weekend.
And what's going to happen?
That's not going to be great for Kentucky.
No.
We're going to talk about it here today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Like the man said, that is Daniel. I am Clint. Locked On Bulldogs, your team every day. We're talking UGA football against Kentucky. Thanks to LinkedIn for being the title sponsor today. We appreciate you, LinkedIn.
We do.
We know a lot of people after this season that Georgia will be sending to the transfer portal of employment to find a new job.
That's right.
Right there on your
Heck,
side.
Mark Stoops might be one of them, which brings us to our first segment.
We teased this in the beginning of the week. And look, there is not a person in Dog Nation that has more respect for Stoops than I do. I thought he had something.
If you are a
cooking.
longtime listener to this pod, you know that Clint has a love affair with Mark Stoops.
I do. It turns out that being a regimented, hard kind of line coach that builds up strong trenches and makes the most, maximizes players.
Okay.
It's only so far that can take you in the SEC. He's a bit like Pat Fitzgerald in the Big Ten. Northwestern got a good coach. Pat is a good coach. Look, Pat's a good coach, but there's only so far you can go with just being a good guy. And Stoops might be showing himself the door because you lose to Vandy at home, and then you get boat raced by Georgia, who comes in with all manner of ill intent.
It's not a great look.
It's not a great
It's
look.
not a great
Stoops.
look. Listen, congratulations to Vandy, first of all. First win since 2019. And this is the most embarrassing loss that Kentucky football has had in a while.
Embarrassing.
And that is a testament to Mark Stoops because he has made this program respectable.
Very much so.
Kentucky football used to be right on par with Vanderbilt. Kentucky football and Vanderbilt football were just the same thing.
Man, y'all had game day out there. Y'all got way excited for that.
Mark Stoops has elevated this program to a certain level. But again, as you said, just because you're a solid defensive mind, just because you run a tight program and you're a very disciplined guy, like I don't know, Derek Mason, like I don't know, Will Muschamp.
Great comp.
These are people who are not great head coaches in the SEC. That's what they've shown themselves to be. Do you know what they are? They're great defensive minds. They're great guys. They are assets to any program. But nobody seems to want them to be their head coaches.
Look, here's the problem with this, and this is why we look at people like Florida and we know that Napier is not the dude. Like, nobody likes Napier, and he tries to be Dan Mullen. Nobody feared Dan Mullen because you didn't have this little edge to you. That when reporters asked questions, you weren't afraid of some comical response. You were afraid of the death stare that was going to melt you. Stoops don't have that. Okay, Saban has that. Like, again, greatest coach in college football history, even though he's going to be very swiftly removed at Auburn, either by health concerns or more losses. Kirby certainly has that. Even Day is beginning to get that. He doesn't have it, but he's beginning to have it. He grew some facial hair, and it kind of masks the rest of it. Y'all, I don't think Stoops has it.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No.
You know what else Stoops doesn't have this year? A good football team.
I was just going to say, let's now transition to why
Kentucky's
Kentucky
not good.
because everybody talking to me, and here's what I want to try and say. Everybody talking about Levis. Levis this, Levis that,
Okay.
first round, quarterback, cannon of an arm, gritty, put his own finger, displaced finger back in place, yada, 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 yada. He's not good at the footballing, Daniel.
He doesn't do quarterback play well. It's just last year, Will Levis threw he threw for yards and he threw the ball deep.
Sure.
He also threw the ball into coverage and he threw interceptions. Prior to the Kentucky game last year, we had our girl Sarah on here. She was talking about the exact same thing. Listen, when Will Levis throws it deep, the other team's just as likely to come down with it as his team is. That was the case last year.
But he's gotten better, right, Daniel?
No, he's gotten worse, is the thing. He's now less accurate.
Okay.
He's now less efficient.
Oh, no.
And he's still not advancing his team to wins. This Kentucky offense has taken 5 steps backwards, even though Rodriguez is back, Levis is back, the whole system is in place. They did lose their top wide receiver, I know that, but they have guys coming back in at wide receiver. Will Levis has regressed, and he wasn't good to begin with. It's all smoke and no fire with Will Levis. I promise you, whoever drafts him is going to see him ride the bench. What's the kid? Sam Darnold. That's the comp for Will Levis. Will Levis is a Sam Darnold.
Leaf
no, he's not a Ryan Leaf. There will never be another Ryan Leaf. He's a Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, he was.
And he's now the 3rd string quarterback backing on the Carolina Panthers, backing up Baker Mayfield, a former number 1 overall pick, while PJ Walker plays quarterback for the Carolina Panthers.
I know that AR-15, I keep on calling him AR-15. I'm a Florida fan. I know you get mad at me for that, which is why, again, I keep on doing it because it's your stupid nickname that you gave him. Mm-hmm. I know that he said he tries to fashion his game after Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. That's what
that was the quote.
I thought I saw Will Levis once upon a time say that he tries to model his game after Josh Allen. I thought that's what he said. I could be making that up in entirety. But
that should be who he tries to model his game after. Because do you know what Josh Allen was? Really bad in college.
Yeah.
And really good in the NFL. Yeah. That's Will Levis's only hope. He better try to be modeling his game after Josh Allen because
I don't know if he's got that arm strength though. Like that.
He's got the first part down.
Yeah.
He is really bad in college. So he's halfway there.
But Daniel, if I know anything, our defense struggles.
Let's talk about that.
In the back end of the we're going to talk about
Let's talk about our defense matched up against Will Levis and this Kentucky offense right after we come back.
But first, I want to talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the place that you need to go as the world keeps on getting back. By the way, Daniel, do you know about LinkedIn?
No, I do know about LinkedIn. I've heard of them. You go there, you post your job for free, you get great candidates. They come right to you. It's everything that you want. How many billions of candidates are we talking about?
I think the billions associated with that. I could be wrong, but I think it's the amount of tears that will be shed
by Tennessee fans when the college football playoff final rankings are announced.
They already announced, Daniel. They're already announced.
No, the final rankings. I'm talking about like at the end of the thing.
Tennessee fan going to be.
Tennessee's in a prime position, Clint. They are ready to just spring into action if anybody should stumble.
Who's in a prime position? LinkedIn is in a prime position to get you the candidates that you need right to your door using networks of millions of people all across the world. LinkedIn, get the right candidate for your job right to you. And right now, doing LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege to post your job for free.
Oh, next Tuesday night when either USC or UCLA passes Tennessee after winning that game over this weekend, I can't wait to be on Twitter. I cannot wait.
You realize what they're doing. Let me, again, one more time. Here's what they're doing. They're keeping Tennessee close to the top 4 in case a catastrophic thing happens, like TCU losing a 2-loss Pac-12 champion, which I don't think is possible right now. Is it? Is it 2 loss?
Oregon.
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 Okay,
Yeah.
So
Oregon.
Oregon, and for UNC to stumble or Clemson to stumble, and
If
a two-loss
literally
ACC.
everyone loses, Tennessee will get in.
Yeah.
So I
they're
don't
just
mean to
keeping you
imply that
close.
it's impossible.
They're keeping you close for that, but for no other reason.
It's not because you put up 60 on Missouri.
No,
that ain't it.
Look, it's like that kid who was the one at the prom that you said yes to early on in the week, waiting for second guy to come to
A safety,
ask you.
as we call that, a safety.
Okay. Well, Daniel and I, we may share some life experiences.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about, speaking of safeties, let's talk about this Georgia defense. They got a couple safeties back there on the back end. Kentucky's offense has not been poor this year.
No, that's putting it lightly.
They have been abysmal this year. Clint, can I just regale you a bit?
Please.
Kentucky has failed to score 21 points
I'm sorry. Say that one more time for me.
in 6 games in a row. 21 or less in 6 games in a row. Clint. That
So if I'm doing this right,
the last game was against Vanderbilt. I could keep going.
in a losing effort against Vanderbilt, they scored more than 21 points.
They scored less
I'm sorry,
than
less
21
points.
21 or
Losing.
less. Yes.
21 or less.
They did. Yeah.
So if I'm doing this correctly, Daniel, that teams that are high-flying offenses that can put up points, that have shown a propensity to do so, when they face Georgia, come crashing and tumbling down.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going up
now
against
Kentucky.
Offense. Okay. Well, okay.
This could be a 0. I don't come back tomorrow for locks.
That's a lot.
But I'm
22
just
and a half's a
telling
lot
you,
of line, but I
Georgia
hear you.
fans, a 0 is on the table for Kentucky. Kentucky has registered 400 yards in a game one time this year.
Please tell me the opponent.
It was Tennessee. Now, to Tennessee's credit,
I love you,
Tennessee couldn't be better.
I
It
love
couldn't
you,
be
Tennessee
better.
fan.
To Tennessee's credit, Kentucky only
gosh.
scored 6 points in that game. They had over 400 yards of offense,
Oh, yes.
but it only added up to 6 points.
That's why I would have never thought that was the case because it was so
It was such a
lopsided.
lopsided game,
Yeah.
but that was because of turnovers and because of possession, amount of possessions and all those things. This offense does not move the ball.
Nope.
They are going to be punting a lot against Georgia.
Because the thing, Chris Rodriguez with this offense, punting a lot with it, he's not the back we thought he was.
He's
okay?
not.
He's not even close. Ibrahim
not.
over at Minnesota got more wiggle than this guy. Okay?
Ibrahim is a great bat.
I agree.
Chris
but
Rodriguez is not.
Chris Rodriguez is not.
They don't have the O-line play
No.
that they typically have.
Nope.
Chris Rodriguez has looked much more pedestrian than
look
he
at
has,
the- go look
maybe
at the Auburn
largely due in part to the offensive line play. I'm not.
Go look at the Auburn game. He wasn't making anybody miss tackles.
No.
In that game.
Tank Bigsby and Chris Rodriguez, probably the two most underwhelming backs in the league.
Little Spider-Man
this year.
meme right there.
And then Will Levis is still Will Levis. He hasn't changed.
You said 400 yards against Tennessee.
It's so good, isn't it?
It's so good.
Isn't it so good? So listen, again, check back tomorrow for my official score prediction. But I'm just telling you, Georgia fans, if you want another shutout this year, you have two shots to get it because we do play Georgia Tech next. But
gosh.
if you want another shutout this year, this is an opportunity right here. It is on the road, but if the defense comes out hungry and they come out angry, they could absolutely shut this team down. We're talking about 200 yards and 2 field goal attempts is maybe what Kentucky's looking at in this game.
I'm telling you right now. I am telling you right now. This game has the chance. Stoops is going to pull Levis. He throws 3 picks because he don't want it to look bad. We have a chance.
To knock Will Levis out of the first round.
I'm telling you. That's what type of game this could be.
I just don't. They're going to take quarterbacks. And, I get I don't even want to get into
it. Is the
it. I don't even
NFL that hard up for quarterbacks that they're going to? They are.
Yes.
Okay. I have no idea because I don't watch the NFL.
They are that hard up for quarterbacks.
Wow, that's embarrassing.
So much so that they're going to draft Bryce Young and Will Levis and think they're doing something positive.
Bryce Young, Daniel, he stands tall in that pocket. Stands tall in that pocket. I have never seen a quarterback 6 foot, Daniel, make it in the NFL.
All right, let's talk about Georgia's offense versus Kentucky's defense right after we come back from this.
But first, I want to let you know about BetOnline. BetOnline's your sportsbook experts. They got all them lines, all them parlays, all them over-unders.
Kentucky team total under.
What is it right now? Do you off the top
I don't
of your
have
head?
it off the top of my head. I'm just telling you, get it. Whatever it is, take it.
What would you handicap it as? 14.5, 15?
13. I bet it's under 2 touchdowns. It'll be under 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
12, 13.
BetOnline, you
Take
can
the
find
under.
all these alternate lines, over-unders, game totals, first halves, first quarter, turnovers. All of it happened in the BetOnline, the official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs, as well as Locked On Podcasts everywhere. Your team every day. BetOnline, your sportsbook experts.
Kentucky's defense, Clint.
Yes.
I will say this.
Okay.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this defense because on paper, you look at Kentucky. If you're just a box score scout of Kentucky, you're going to look at these box scores and you're going to say, Kentucky's got a pretty serviceable defense.
Mm-hmm.
They've held everyone that they've played except Tennessee on the road because Tennessee's won all of their games that matter at home this year. That's the only place that they've ever won any games that matter, except Death Valley at 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Neck playing everywhere.
Except for Tennessee, Kentucky has held all of its opponents under 24 points. 24 points or less in every game. So you would look at the box scores of Kentucky and you would think, well, this defense is playing pretty good. Like in all their games, they're holding all these teams to 24 points or less.
Sure.
That is not what is happening.
It's a little deceiving.
A little deceptive because what Mark Stoops likes to do is he likes to
there it
just
is.
stretch that game out, Clint.
But see what happens when you can't do that, when you are forced to throw the football on first and second down, when you're not getting the yardage required because Jalen Carter is dislodging 2 that he is coming at and then making the tackle in the backfield. When you start doing that and you allow Malachi Starks to start creeping into the box, Christopher Smith to run down an alley and tackle on the edge, all of a sudden you can't do that and you give the ball back in incredible timing to Georgia. We're going to put it on them, Daniel.
Yeah, this is where Todd Monken's going to be hurrying up. He is going to, early in this game, you're going to see a lot of sprint to the line and get another snap-off type of Todd Monken offense. Kirby will be fine to slow it down as we get late. Because, again, Kirby's got his eyes on some different games right now. He's never going to talk about it. But he's looking first at Georgia Tech next week, but then he's looking to Atlanta and LSU. It ain't just the support staff watching LSU tape this week. It ain't just the support staff watching LSU tape this week.
Kirby remembers the taste in his mouth last time we were in the Benz against LSU.
Mm-hmm. He ain't. Somebody the other day asked me, why wouldn't, if Georgia's going to make the playoff anyway, why wouldn't Georgia just let LSU win so SEC gets 2 teams in the playoff? And I just looked at the person and was like, do you know who the coach of Georgia is? He does not want to lose.
He beats his son sprinting on the beach.
Listen, I expect Georgia to get out ahead early on offense because I don't think this Tennessee Tennessee. I don't think this Kentucky defense is going to be able to hold up, particularly in the secondary. I would love to see Georgia establish that ground game and pound it. Tennessee is a little bit more capable in that department, I believe. The secondary at Tennessee, I do not think has it. I do not think they're going to be able to hold up against these wide receivers, these tight ends, or against Stetson Bennett. I don't expect the offensive line to struggle in pass protection one bit. I would love it if we could reestablish some run game and get some more rhythm there, so I would have some confidence heading into the LSU game over these next 2 weeks. But I expect a get out early and cruise control second half for the Georgia offense. The only reason we won't keep scoring is because we don't need style points, because we win our football games.
Oh, is that? By the way, is that the point of footballing? Is to
win the game?
Oh, that's weird.
Interesting.
That's weird. Again, and that is who Kirby is. So
He's a winner.
all of you guys talking about Kirby wanting to run up the score and do it. Kirby doesn't want to. Again, he came out death marching Tennessee in the third quarter at home. He just cares about winning games, guys.
Yeah.
So all of you people talking to him about the adversity and what we don't look like and how we didn't look good against, yada, 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 yada. He's going to come out and say, the boys played through some stuff. They challenged us. We won. I don't know what you guys are complaining about. All you spoiled Georgia fans, like, get over yourself. Again, third segment listener, glad you're here with your bucket, your buddy and you, but he's not going to care. And yes, we are going to get out. I think first half is the biggest chance we have to make this spread happen, because I think it might be goose egg 25-0 at half. And if that's the case, Death March's going to start in third quarter to hopefully, like you said, get some confidence heading up against LSU, because Georgia Tech ain't going to be a confidence builder. But on the road in the SEC, Kirby's going to say, I guarantee you, I promise you, get your bingo card out. When Kirby says, well, you win a game on the road in the SEC, that's a huge win.
It's a well-coached team. Got a lot of respect for Mark Stoops and the work he's done at Kentucky and the way that he runs that program.
Bingo.
Check.
It's all going to be there. But the team is going to feel that. The guys are going to feel going to Kentucky and mauling them and coming out with a win, running the ball will give them confidence much more than just kicking the crap out of Tech the following week.
I just think this team likes to play, Like
I do too.
And I think it comes from the top. I think it is an incredibly underrated aspect of Stetson Bennett's personality and Stetson Bennett's leadership in this team. And I think it comes from Nolan Smith as well, who's still there. I think him and Stetson Bennett.
Think about that for a moment. Just everyone think about this for a moment. Okay, all of you haters of Georgia, and even in the program that wants to talk about, oh no, this could really rattle us or shake us, and you put in whatever you want to do. Nolan Smith, a surefire first-round draft choice, maybe a top 5, maybe a top 10, depending on where he goes in the boards. It has no chance to play the rest of the year. He is on the sideline giving his all, yelling his guts out for these players.
Taking a spot on the travel roster away from a player who's healthy.
Do you understand what we're trying to say about this? The uniqueness of the culture that Georgia has. It's obscene. Again, we're the standard.
I mean, yeah, look around college football and tell me who else the standard is.
We're the standard.
We're the standard. And if we weren't the standard, a team trying to be the standard would probably play us in the SEC championship game.
That sounds about right.
So I guess maybe it's LSU.
So I guess
potentially Brian Kelly and his family down there in Baton Rouge.
What's the little red things that we eat? I mean, what are they called? I think it's crayon fish.
Listen, we're gonna have a lot of fun SEC championship game week. I don't expect a lot of fight from Kentucky. Tomorrow we give our official predictions on the game. We talk about scores. We talk about how we think it's going to go. We tell you if there's any bets on this game that you should make. All of that and more tomorrow on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. Your team every day. We'll see you then.
See ya.